we have an intriguing title here. It's called Reimagining Education, and I can't think of a better cast list to take me through this. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my cast, to bring them on stage. Cara, McCloskey, Mendes, the Adoption Lead Education of EMEA, OpenAI. Cara, please come to the stage and take the second seat. Thank you. Lauren Phillips, Director of Program Management at Inception, a G42 company. Welcome, Lauren. Girard Moussa, the Education Lead at Microsoft UAE. Girard. And Professor Ekaterina Kochmar, the Assistant Professor of Natural Language Processing, Mohammed bin Zayed, University of Artificial Intelligence. Professor, please do take the seat. My audience at Global GITEX, please give them a big, big round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, the clock is already ticking away, so I'm going to dive straight in there. Cara, if I may begin with you. From your work with both universities and with ministries, you bring a wealth of experience, as all of our panelists do here. What excites you most when we talk about reimagining education? The words that come to my mind are AI personalization. Can we put some flesh to that?
Yeah, happy to. So first off, I want to say I think this is the most exciting time to be in education. We all know that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning, but for the first time, we're really able to realize this vision of personalized learning. So that means a custom tutor for every student. And what I hear just in my own work of meeting with students and faculty members is the impact that this has on their day-to-day. It is a custom tutor that can guide them through learning new materials, tackling difficult subjects, and really helps nurture and instill confidence and grow skills. And I think what's really exciting now is that we're extending that impact beyond just individual learners and individual schools to really look at this across an entire education system. And I think what I'm especially excited about being here in the UAE is just the bold national vision around AI in education system and making this accessible to everyone. And I would just like to call out MBZUAI as an incredible example of that. We've been running an early pilot and they've given access across their entire university, and that level of accessibility and AI literacy is such an important aspect here as well. So I think it's about how we're enabling and empowering students today, but also how we're really building this AI literate generation to come.
That's such a wonderfully opening, comprehensive answer. It gives us so many different points to launch from. You've introduced Professor Ekaterina and her work there, so I'm just going to jump around the panel. This is our grand finale. We're not going by any formula. So let me bring in the professor and your work. And when we speak about reimagining education, what should we be thinking about?
Excellent question. Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, Cara, especially since you just introduced MBZUAI in this context as well. So as we have heard already today in this panel, AI is absolutely transforming all spheres of life. And especially from our perspective, we all care about education quite a lot. And this is one of the most important societal changes that is going to happen. So first of all, as Cara mentioned, in this country, we're actually at the front edge of the innovation in AI. And MBZUAI is, in fact, the first AI-oriented university in the world. So we have introduced AI at all levels into research, into our workflow, into the teaching. And some of the biggest changes that obviously we will need to face actually were mentioned in the previous panel as well. Of course, being this transformative power today, we actually need to prepare ourselves of how to integrate this into society and how to work with AI as a friend rather than a foe. And this actually transforms everything. And we start with education because we need to prepare the students, we need to prepare them for the future of the workflow and workforce. And this change and innovation comes at every stage.
And I think what you've just said there really echoes what we've heard throughout this morning of programming dedicated to AI native societies. You talked about that collaborative effort, being quite inclusive. Peng Chao spoke about co-creating. Sam Altman spoke about society and AI co-evolving, and education is at the heart of that. Girard, if I bring you in now, because I'm going to bring Lauren in just a moment, because I've got a very exciting example I want to speak to you about, Lauren. But Girard Moussa, the education lead, Microsoft UAE, reimagining education. What's your perspective on this?
Thank you very much. So from a Microsoft perspective, I mean, we partner with OpenAI, obviously. We partner with universities. We have as well our partners.
Sorry, I'll just ask you to bring the mic all the way up. Perfect.
No problem.
That's perfect.
Yeah, excellent. And the whole purpose is, back to the point, AI personalization. We want to help students at the right time, right place, and also give time back to the educators so they can focus on where they're required the most. So the tools that we've embedded, I believe most of the students, educators use Microsoft Office solutions and so forth. So we've embedded our tools in them to give them the support. For example, we have learning accelerators, like Reading Coach, Math Progress. These are really actual AI-powered tools that give time back to the teachers, as well as give them insights on what's happening with the students, right? This helps with identifying, issues early on. And then we have a saying at Microsoft, we're not going to be replaced by AI. We're going to be replaced by people who use AI. So starting with this education system, we need to make sure the next generation is able to use AI in the right way. And then this will help them as well in their careers. Same thing for the educators. They need to use AI to ensure that they are able to provide and teach the next generation on how to use AI responsibly as well. So we have a lot to say on that.
Absolutely, and we want you to say a lot more on this, because I think that's such a crucial issue there. You say the Microsoft saying is, it's not about being replaced by AI, but by people using AI. But we're going to come back to that in just a moment. Lauren Phillips, Director Program Management at Inception, a G42 company. We heard from your CEO in the last panel there, Ashish Koshi, a wonderfully insightful, visionary gentleman. He spoke about co-designing and having this cultural mindset shift. I really want to hear about what's happening Inception here in the UAE. What a fantastic program. Please do share it here with us for the GITEX Global audience.
Absolutely. So I manage a program called GITEX. This is a program that started about 1.5 years ago. The primary focus of this program is to enable Emiratis to have access to artificial intelligence and AI upskilling with a real-world work experience. So it's not necessarily a novel approach. Remote work, annotation companies have existed forever, but more than ever, this is the most relevant that we've seen it. We give individuals who, to Sam and Peng's point earlier this morning, it's about accessibility and equity. And these are individuals who are living in more remote regions. Maybe they can't necessarily come to a traditional office setting, but we still want to give them access to learning and upskilling and job and workforce professional preparedness in the AI sector. This is also a great opportunity that kind of bridges the digital divide that we see in a lot of communities. It's localized, so individuals are working on AI that not only benefits them, their language communities, their neighbors, their families and friends, all from the comfort of a remote environment in Al Ain from home.
And that's so interesting, as you say there, the key focus there, accessibility and equity. What are some of the lessons that, from a more kind of universal perspective, that we can draw from the GITEX? What can we extrapolate?
This is a great model for anybody who is not necessarily sure how to get involved in artificial intelligence. I think with all the upskilling and all the new technologies and software that's kind of coming out, it can come across as very overwhelming. So people maybe not necessarily know how to jump into artificial intelligence. How does that play into my life? How can I prepare myself professionally in the future when kind of I may be being replaced by individuals who are using AI more than me? So this is the opportunity of not only theory but practice. So these are individuals that are coming into the work ecosystem, learning how artificial intelligence models work from data to deployment. It's hands-on, but they're not necessarily in person. And some great statistics from this program is that 99%, we have over 200 individuals in this program working remotely. 99% of them are women. 94% of them have no prior artificial intelligence experience. 88%, this is their first job. And this is an opportunity also for persons of determination, individuals with mobility issues who can't maybe sit at a desk or go to an office. So it's a lot of learning opportunities for us to kind of how to make these systems work and scale and give individuals kind of to propel them into the future.
Lauren, we really appreciate you detailing that example because it's a really practical case study for us all to focus on more abstract and theoretical notions to and hear about that in more detail. And I'm going to invite all our panelists to share some really key practical examples with us. Both Lauren and Girard introduced this idea of upskilling, and I know it's what the Professor and Cara, you've already mentioned as well. Let's dive into that further. When we speak about AI tools empowering teachers rather than replacing teachers, Cara, from your perspective at OpenAI, what should we be keeping at the forefront of our minds?
It's a question that I get quite often in my role. But I have to say, what I have heard from teachers and faculty members that I meet with every day, they're not building AI to replace themselves. They're building AI to get back time, to be more creative, and to have more time for student interactions. I was a teaching assistant my first year out of university, and I saw firsthand just how much admin ends up on teachers' plates, often spills into the night, over the weekends, and I don't think anyone goes into the profession for that side of things. So what has really excited me about AI and education is that ability to offload a lot of the kind of more routine manual aspects of lesson planning and communications so that they can be more creative and more focused on the classroom. One way that we've seen this work really well is through things like professor or teacher GPTs, where they create a customized version of ChatGPT that's infused with their curriculum and lesson details. Students can go there as a first line when they have questions. Often we see that it's most popular between midnight and 3 a.m. because that's when the students are up and asking their questions. And then when they go into the classroom or they go to the office hours, they're having a much deeper level of engagement and conversation, which I think is more satisfying for students and for teachers. But even just beyond that, like a lot of richer experiences that you can now build in with AI. So we have a professor at Columbia who created a custom GPT to help support her nursing students and to role play scenarios, real world scenarios of patient interactions. And the students can go in and they work on empathy and clear communication, and that's something that helps build confidence, and it becomes a very satisfying classroom experience. And so when it comes to teachers, it's all about how do we support the incredible work that we're doing? How do we build AI that can co-support them? And it's not about replacing. So in that case, very much a focus on empowering teachers and allowing for that more human connection in the classroom.
And Cara, we really appreciate your perspective, both from an OpenAI point of view, but also your frontline teaching experience. I think it's wonderful to have that insight. Professor Ekaterina, if I can ask you to build on some of the points that Cara has outlined there, not only talking about empowering teachers, but also giving them access to these AI tools to create a greater human connection.
Absolutely, that has always been my view, because I have been working in the fields of AI and NLP in education for decades now. And effectively from the very beginning, it was my firm belief that AI is here to help humans. It's here to help students, it's here to help teachers, and we are not building it to replace teachers. And Cara gave excellent examples here. So when we are building these tools, first of all, in day-to-day lives of teachers, there are many tasks that are quite monotonous and they're repetitive. You can think about, for example, checking essays, checking submissions. Quite often, those can be automated, and we have been automating these tasks for years now. Now, with the tools such as ChatGPT and GPT models, we actually are just making it so much more efficient and so much more reliable than before. But it is important to understand that what we are not taking away is a very important human-to-human component. Because education is not just about providing material or checking the assignments. It is so much more than that. And the component that we are not going to ever be able to replace with AI is in fact this human-to-human collaboration, communication. And what we are doing with AI in education is basically we are offloading certain tasks that may be done by AI quite reliably, but we are freeing the time and freeing the energy of the teachers, and we are allowing them to use this time so much more efficiently and so much more productively for creative tasks, for talking to students, for actually supporting their maybe professional journeys, for example. This is something that I think AI can help with, but it is not going to replace teachers in that respect. Of course, there is a lot of anthropomorphization. There is a Liza effect. We quite often sort of treat AI tools as if they are teachers, like human teachers, but they're not. So this communication on the human-to-human level is very important. And I believe that this is where this is a very productive, collaborative environment in which we can introduce these tools into the everyday lives of teachers and students, basically allowing humans to benefit from their time and communication so much more.
And Professor Ekaterina, what you described there, these are very universal observations that can be applied across very different societies and countries when we talk about the integration of AI for AI native societies. If I bring in Girard at this point to let's unpack what the professor is outlining there. Microsoft, you have a unique relationship with the UAE across many different sectors. Often I do health conferences as well, and Microsoft is a key partner with many UAE collaborators here, including G42. These conversations are also a crossover to the health sector. When we speak about not replacing doctors, not replacing teachers here, also what is referred to is actually reducing the monotony of work and empowering more connection with patients. This is the aim, isn't it? This is the goal. Do you believe that we are on that journey? It's not just simply...
Definitely, right? And I guess bring us back to education. Just last night I was having dinner with the chancellor of one of the higher education institutions in the UAE, and they believe AI, which we all believe, should be a foundation course at university. Just like the English language, that's going to be your language of study. So we're working with them to identify how we can educate all the future generation, including, back to your point, healthcare. So with healthcare, we're working very closely on enabling not only the healthcare industry, but at the national level. How do we leverage AI, for example, on studying genomics? So genomics is a big area. We're collaborating with M42, with the different health authorities, and working together, enabling their team, as well as working very closely and sharing knowledge, as well as investing in, back to your point as well, in solutions, tools in country. So part of responsible AI is, privacy is a big part of it, and having the data in country, the regulations, and back to your point, healthcare is a very heavily regulated industry, education to a certain extent. So this is where we work very closely with the government, with the different entities, the regulators, and then back to your point, with the different authorities to ensure not only we're bringing so-and-so solution to the country, we're actually meeting the requirements and focusing on an AI-first approach.
And I think that's why conversations like this are so useful on platforms like GITEX Global, because that we can bring our own shared perspectives from different sectors and learn those universal takeaways. But also, as you're all very candidly engaging, we're trying to mitigate the risks. We're not shying away from them. We're very aware of them. We're talking about not replacing, but empowering the individuals involved in various professions. Lauren, you mentioned earlier that phenomenal statistic, 99% of your 200 cohort are women, and 94% were new to AI. To build on what we've heard from our other panelists, that idea of bringing people who are new to AI to the journey, because that's really the heart of AI native societies.
We focus a lot on not necessarily kind of having these hard skills, but like more of the soft skills, the capacity to learn. Are these individuals curious? Are they inquisitive? Are they kind of, are they self-motivated? Do they kind of want to see themselves further develop? We align very, very closely with the UAE's AI Vision 2031, and we want to empower individuals. We want to have an AI-enabled and knowledgeable society. What better way to do it in a work environment where they get experience, they can learn and upskill, and it's not necessarily within AI or AI technology track that gives them exposure to other domains, whether it's healthcare, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's technology, it's aerospace, etc. So we want to give these individuals and kind of showcase, this is how it can be applied, not necessarily these hard specific skills. There are opportunities for that, but kind of taking a step back and what is the structure and what is the skeleton and what are these core things that individuals need to have to kind of further along their professional path that kind of will also lead them to be, subject matter experts in the field, be leaders in the community, in the region, in artificial intelligence. So we really, really focus on kind of what is that kind of kernel that we can kind of identify in these individuals to kind of, nurture them and get them to the place to kind of grow within, the ecosystem and within their professional paths.
And as you say there, how we can grow, how we can progress, and the idea of scaling up, because that's really what you're all working on, these fundamentally just progressive ideas, small scale and then being scaled up. We heard from our group CEO, Peng Chao, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, earlier this morning, that idea of taking these examples and really scaling globally. So perhaps that might be a good final call to action from you all. When it comes to reimagining education, if you had a magic wand and you could wish for anything, what could it be in this idea of reimagining education on this journey of AI native societies? Cara, maybe if I can begin with you and work our way through the panel.
I think the first piece is accessibility, so ensuring that everyone has access to the latest models and technology here. And also what Lauren had mentioned is making it really practical and accessible to people as well. So it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes to take that first step into AI, into these new tools. But I think the more that we can encourage people that there is something for everyone, and that this is something that will provide a benefit in your working life, in your personal life, and in your student life as well. And just making it as practical as possible is a really big thing here as well. So
I think you're absolutely right. It can be quite overwhelming, this whole discussion, but that's why it's wonderful to have sessions like this dedicated to how can we have those practical takeaways. So fantastic there, accessibility and practical takeaways. Lauren, I have just heard from you, but I will come to you again. A magic wand, what would you like to see as a next step?
Obviously practicality and accessibility, but I think also getting more use cases, more individuals to kind of speak and say, hey, well, I faced this problem in my personal life or at home or in work or school. How can I make it better? I spend a lot of time doing this, or I'm having a hard time maybe comprehending this. I think getting more, a lot of these products that are AI products that are deployed, it's, still within a certain mindset, or kind of what's going to be the return on investment for, the 80% of the problems are solved with 20% of the work or something like that. Getting more and more exposure to use cases, and so that you can it kind of flows seamlessly into day-to-day life integration, I think is the most helpful thing. Like, where can AI fit in with any kind of problem that you're facing, whether it's commuting to work, or if it's doing your homework, or it's updating your CV, like where are the things that you deal with on a daily basis that you kind of feel, I don't want to do that, it's kind of a pain, it takes too much time, I don't really want to maybe log in, or I don't remember my password. I think it's having more and more of these use cases to kind of have that interconnection, and then you kind of see this intelligence grid really take full force.
So I think what you're encouraging there is more data points, as you say, more use cases, so not simply data in the sense that we traditionally think of data in AI. You're actually saying, let's learn from what's unfolding in the real world and then feed that back into the model. Very empowering there. Girard?
So if I had a magic wand,
Yes.
I would love to see the educators, the organizations, really embracing AI. So we still see resistance, to the extent sometimes we refer to it as AI sabotage. We have saboteurs internally within the organizations pushing back. I mean, today I have 3 kids. It depends on the teacher. Some of them recommend they use AI, but most of them say, don't you dare use AI. Right? So this is not the right. So the magic wand, let's all embrace AI. We're all here to support, right, as organizations. We're lucky in the UAE, it's an AI-first country. There's an AI curriculum, but it's about the individuals, the educators, and the organization, the staff embracing and then putting that. And as we know, when it comes top-down, it works, but as well, more importantly, it needs to be bottom-up from the people on the ground.
Girard, that's a very intriguing way to put it, AI sabotage. It's quite catchy. I quite really like it there. Professor Ekaterina, when we talk about the education system resisting AI, certainly at the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence, that is definitely not the case. So I'm going to give you the final word, a magic wand. And in your magic wand answer, if you can really contextualize it in terms of what's happening here in the UAE, we've spoken throughout the morning, it's quite a unique ecosystem.
Absolutely, and being the last answering this question, I find it very difficult because my co-panelists made so many
I know you're up to the challenge, Professor.
So I'm just going to summarize. I think this session is called AI native societies, right? So I think that it would be great to actually build such an AI native society where AI is naturally integrated into the educational process. Going back to Girard's point, this is overcoming the pushback, overcoming the sabotage, understanding how to work together with AI to the benefit of all the stakeholders, teachers, students, parents, and so on. And I think we are on the way there, but we are not there yet. And for me, for example, the key points where AI can really help us in education are about personalization and accessibility. So basically, one of the quite critical examples here was the pandemic, where we were not actually able to provide students with in-person education. We also know that there are certain areas in the world where high-quality education is simply not accessible. So this is where AI can bring it to the students. And personalization means that if we want everyone to be educated at the highest possible level, every student, we already touched upon one size doesn't fit all idea. If we want to bring them all to the same point in their professional development, there are individual journeys that each of them will take. So for me, the dream for the future would be where we can have AI integrated naturally into this process so that we can actually bring every student to this highest possible level of their abilities, of their skills, of their potential, and help them realize this potential with personalized AI. So that's basically my view of how it should work in the future. I very much hope that we will get there.
And it's a wonderful way to sum up and a wonderfully powerful and empowering message to end on, the idea of bringing every student, every educational worker on board to ensure that everybody is on board. I'm really glad that you circled it back round to the first opening question I asked about AI personalization, but also we circled it back round to the beginning of today, because we began our special programming on AI native societies by congratulating Sam Altman in getting the very first doctorate at the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. So it was key that we gave you the final word there, Professor Ekaterina. My esteemed audience, has been wonderful to be with you throughout this morning. There's plenty more material on the G42 website, our YouTube channels. Do check out the G42 on-air podcast. Have the pleasure of interviewing many of the executives. I'm hoping that I might be able to invite many of my panelists to be approached for that opportunity as well. But for now, esteemed audience, please do give a big round of applause to our grand finale here at GITEX Global 2025. Thank you to my audience. Thank you. And we might just get a wonderful little photo before we leave the stage. Thank you.